Hello, hello to all of our change makers out there. You know that we have been having so much fun interviewing people who are out here on a mission to change the world in one way or another. And today we are so excited to have a special guest with us today. Who is that, dear?
Oh, the one and only Tom Chenault.
Yes. And if you haven't ever heard the name, well, I see all over the internet, he's been voted as one of the top 25 network marketers in the world. And he will tell you very quickly he owes it to a philosophy that's been very important to him and also happens to be the name on a book he's writing. So, Tom, welcome. Thank you for being here. And tell everybody a little bit about that philosophy of yours that is the root of so much success for you.
Hello there, you guys, and I am so happy to be here. Don and Cheyenne, who you are as human beings are what I want to be when I grow up. I love your cause. I love everything you're doing about the way that you live your life. I especially love your sweatshirt, Cheyenne. Why don't you
That's right.
love like crazy, then love more? That happens to be my philosophy of life. And fire your brain, hire your heart. That's what Don's got on. And those two things kind of exemplify the way that I live my life. And I've been unbelievably successful and an abject failure over a long time. And I've been a failure, successful, a failure, successful, a failure, successful also, which I think is really, really good. I mean, I had somebody ask me the other day what I would say to my 15-year-old self at the ripe old age of over 70. And I would say to my 15-year-old self, and this is absolutely true, I would say, don't change anything. I mean, the highs, the lows, the losses, the gains, it all turned this crazy hot mess called Tom Chenault into a pretty good human being here at this stage of the game.
Holy cow. So it sounds like as you describe your ups and downs, you haven't really lived just this charmed life then, huh?
You know,
Tell
and
us about that.
that is so funny that you say that, because comparison is evil, and everybody
Mm.
plays this game called comparison, and the people that aren't successful play it really, really well. So they will look at me and say, well, if I had a radio show, if I had this, if I had that, I would be successful. And because I don't have all that, I'm not successful. And then I get the other guy that I'm sitting down with going, oh my God, my story's just not bad enough. Your story's so bad, Tom. If I just had that bad story, I'd be successful. And so it nobody reads yesterday's newspapers. I hate to break it to you, but it just doesn't happen. And so, here's what I know for a fact. That is, I'm not where anybody wants me to be. I'm not even where I want to be. And sometimes that's of great chagrin to me, but most of the time I'm completely content in the fact that it is okay, because right this second, I am right where God's got me and I can't do a thing about it. And there's either a lesson or a blessing involved, and probably both every inch of the way. And today I'm finally content with that.
Wow. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Well, I'd love for people to understand a little bit more about that philosophy of yours. It's important enough you're writing a whole book about it. So
Yeah.
tell us how has that really helped to shape your success? And I should mention, because we are blessed to have you as one of our mentors, we do work in Youngevity, and that's where you've got so much of your time and energy tied up now. So how does the whole love like crazy philosophy really play out in your success?
Again, we go back to what I talked about a few minutes ago when I was comparing myself to everybody. And I constantly try to compare myself to all the bigs in network marketing. You mentioned that they voted me number 25 in a big, 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 big pond at one point in 2010, which was a long time ago. And I'm not sure if I even deserved it then. I'm not sure if I deserve it now, and I really don't care. What I do care about is the impact and the legacy that I'm leaving behind. Again, I'm in my 70s, and I've got 3 kids and 4 grandkids at this particular second. And I need to leave them something beyond money. I want to leave them a legacy. I want to leave them a future. And I want them to remember me as that guy that loved like crazy, then loved more. That guy that measured nobody by who they were, measure everybody by who they are, and what I can do to help that next individual have a life like mine, not my life, but a life like mine, where they get to they get to deal with it on a blank slate. They can have anything they truly want if they finally get all those distractions out of the way.
Mm, yeah. That's a biggie, distractions. So that brings up another great point because, one of the things that you created was an app so that people could use technology to help fill in the gaps where we're just so darn distracted by so many things. Tell people a little bit about that technology that you created.
What you and Don love most about me is what I remember about you. What every human being loves about, and that's what every human being, that's what, if you get a picture of 10 people in the room, the first place your eyes go are for to find you in that picture because you are your favorite subject. But we are so terrible about remembering people. We literally pride ourselves on the lowest bar. You remember Dawn's birthday. You remember maybe. You remember your wedding anniversary, maybe. And what if you remembered everything about everybody? And you also not only remembered everything about everybody, but you reminded everybody that you remember that. It would change the game 100%. And that's because I'm not really smart, because I'm not this movie star, good looking, charismatic, whatever guy. I didn't have all those attributes that everybody else has. I was stuck with me. And I finally realized nobody cares about anything but truly themselves. And
Mm,
inside of that, you take a look at, we're all walking around talking about our college educations. It's been 54 years since somebody looked at my report card. They don't care how smart I am, they care how nice I am. They don't care about my car, they care about how nice I am. And that niceness is measured 2 ways: how nice I am to them and how nice I am to the underdog. So
mm,
it's so easy. So I built a company, I built a philosophy, I built an app, and I built a company around remembering people, about firing your brain, hiring your heart, and letting people realize that there is more to life than the stuff that they have. And I'm super, super proud of that. I literally wrote a book about it. And you talked about the remembering component of it. You know, in the old days when I was a kid, they had these things, a little note box, and you had 3x5 cards in it, and you moved them around, and all the hot shot salesmen had five. You were measured kind of by how big your file box was, and it's evolved into finally something that turned into a Rolodex, and that Rolodex kind of became that, and then it turned into Excel spreadsheets and all the gold mine and those kind of programs. But it's all about remembering. But
mm,
people don't do it. They don't do it. And there's a reason for it. One, they don't really understand the importance of it. And the importance of it's only this: your greatest asset is your database. You might as well face that fact. Your greatest asset is that database, who you know, and how you treat those people that you know. And I love to say I live in Longmont, Colorado, a little town of about 90,000 people. And I live here, and I love to tell people that all the homeless people in Longmont, you should be nice to them, because every one of those people are good friends of a millionaire. And they look at me like, whoa, who? And I go, me, because I know them all. I know them all. I never leave anybody behind. I don't look down at people unless I've got the opportunity to look down to pull them up, because I was one of them. In 1988, I got 2 DUIs, disturbing the pieces in 1 month.
oh
I was
my.
a drunk alcoholic laying in the street. I was that guy you walked around or walked over. You certainly didn't look at, and you said, that guy's a loser and he's going nowhere with his life. That was
Mm,
me. And by the
mm.
grace of God, through nothing I did, God put his hand on my shoulder and said, Tom, you don't have to do that anymore. And I got into a recovery program, and that was over 15,000 days ago. And I am going to that recovery program every day for the last 15,000 days, not because I'm thinking about drinking, but because I want to remember, like that guy over my shoulder. See that guy with that cowboy hat on?
Yes.
Guy, I look at him when I'm sitting here talking about myself and how great I am right now, which is just total garbage. And I have got to remember that I'm not half as hip, slick, and cool as my paycheck's trying to tell me I am. And that guy's up there. I can't even get my hands right. That guy's up there on that wall to remind me of that. So that guy's there. I had that painting painted. They had a deal in Longmont where they had a fundraiser, and they grabbed the prominent people, said, we're going to paint your picture. And what we want, then we're going to have an auction, and people are going to bid on the picture. Well, you know what they're doing. They know that I'm going to bid on the picture of me, and everybody's, that's how they do it. And I said, well, that's a great thing, but I don't want you to paint me. I want you to paint him. So they painted him, and then I paid big money for that guy. And that's why it happened. And that is one of my most prized possessions back there, because that guy is literally my conscience on my shoulder to make sure that I don't get carried away with what I supposedly have done that God did and just gave me credit for it. So that's it.
Mm, mm, mm. Love it. Love it.
It's like the worst interview you've ever had.
No, you're awesome. We want people to know that we're working with somebody who really has a heart. I mean, good Lord, how many times have you heard over the years, people are sure that people who are involved in network marketing, MLM, relationship marketing, whatever you call, that they're just out there to twist your arm and get you to do what they want, and it's all about them. And that's not who you are. I mean, and the other thing that just popped into my head is you even designed an interview process for people so people could actually connect heart to heart. Did you not?
The good thing about multi-level marketing, network marketing, relationship marketing, and all those other things that you keep dreaming up to not say multi-level marketing, here's the reason. There are a couple of things about that. Number one, the majority of people that don't like network marketing don't like it because they tried it and they sucked at it. And they had to make it about it versus make it about them. Because this is truly the best but hardest business in the world. Because you can't push the pig through the python snake by yourself. You just can't do it. Otherwise, you might as well get a white cane and be a fuller brush salesman. You can't do it. You have got to enroll other people. And when you enroll other people, it's not a sales job like they've done all their life, a transaction. It's an enrollment into the possibility that they can have a better life being in the foxhole with you. So that takes a couple of things. Number one, you've got to believe that you believe that, like believe it, instead of a transaction like selling me a pair of shoes that I don't want. The second part of that is you take on the responsibility when you have that powerful conversation with them that they're gonna have a changed life as a result of being with you. You better be capable of getting them there from here, and that's going to take some training and some diligence that you might not have. So instead, they throw shade on the profession, and it's the greatest profession. Where else can you have a chance to have a gigantic life with a $500 investment that's money back guaranteed? Where else can you do that? Boil it down to that. Well, that's not possible. Why? Why? You're going to buy whatever you buy to get started in whatever it is you're going to do, or you're going to go buy a McDonald's franchise. There's a difference, but there's two differences between the McDonald's franchise and the $500 investment. Difference number one is obviously the $1 million you have to put into the McDonald's franchise. And you're going to work your ass off on that McDonald's franchise because you got your $1 million in there. So you aren't going to get up in the morning. It's going to get you up in the morning to go do it. That's number one. And number two, that McDonald's franchise investment isn't guaranteed. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
If you put your money back up and you call McDonald's and say, hey, listen, I just changed my mind, they're just going to say, tough toenails, thanks for the $1 million. Over here, they're going to send your money back. I mean,
Amazing.
you have got no downside other than a little time and whatever money that you invested that was money back guaranteed and your pride. But most people's pride and fear of failure is so big that they can't get over that part. And I know, and I don't know that I've ever said this on an interview before, I'm going to say it. I don't think that the people are afraid of failing in multi-level marketing. I don't think there's one person out there that's afraid to fail at it. They're afraid to lose their $500. They're afraid that it didn't work. That's not the fear. The fear that they've got is that fear of looking bad to their friends and their cronies. I'll join this thing. I'll put my 500 in, but I'm not gonna take that chance of you losing your money. I'm not coming to Thanksgiving and have you roll your eyes at me yet one more time. And that's the problem with most people is they're, I'm on a call every day that you guys are literally on. And I say to you all the time, not you guys, but everybody else, what is stopping you from firing that rocket? And they're on the call. So they're not afraid to be in this thing for themselves. They're afraid to be in it in case it doesn't work and they're going to look bad at the family reunion, I believe. And so I hope that made sense.
Okay.
It did. And you just
Wow.
talked about a community. What's that community called?
Yeah, your hair on fire community. How did that come to be?
Well, I realized that everybody is alone. We're all alone. I was an alcoholic, and a lot of it had to do with I'd go to church, and when I went in the church, I felt like the only sinner in the room. I swear to God, I just walked in there and I knew I was drinking, I was rabble rousing, I was a problem child. And I lived my life inside of shame. And I'd walk in the church and I felt the eyeballs. And everywhere I went, I was a stranger in a strange land. And all of a sudden, I walked into my recovery group and I belonged. I couldn't believe it. I belonged. And so then I was a stockbroker and I was a big time guy and I had all the stuff, but I was this little boy scared to death, worried that you were going to figure out how insecure and how scared I really was. And I joined network marketing because I blew myself out of the brokerage business and I found myself in this profession. And I found myself being trained by people that taught me to throw up on people, to hit them with the pitch, to the 3-foot rule, all that crazy stuff that no other business does. And so the problem was I was a really successful stockbroker. Prior to that, I was an airplane salesman. Prior to that, I was in the restaurant business with great charisma, but really no self-esteem or integrity. But I got away with it. So I was used to moving things through the pipeline with no regard of what was going to happen after I did it. And I joined network marketing and I found myself doing the same thing that I did badly in all my other lives in network marketing. And I'm going, holy mackerel, I'm going to start, if I continue to live this lie, I'm going to drink again. And I do not want to drink again. And literally people, I was being trained by these people that just said, sign people up, sign people up, sign people up. And so I went out and did it. I was signing people up, but they weren't sticking. And I was bringing in people, but I was losing people on the back end faster than I was bringing them in. And I was so troubled. And I was big. I was in a company and I was rising up the ladder, and people were telling me what a hotshot I was. And I made up all these stories about why I chose that company and why I chose network marketing, and not much of it was very true. And a guy named Bill grabbed me and said, Tom, I said, what? He goes, you are charismatic. You've been trained by the best. You are absolutely going to ruin this profession for all of us. And I go, what are you talking about? He said, Tom, you are going broke enthusiastically, and you are taking other people with you. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, it's not all about you. It's not all about you. Stop it. There are a lot of people in that room that are at the end of the rope that truly need to have an opportunity. You got to tell the truth, and you got to stop talking about the great Tom Chenault, and you got to talk about Cheyenne and Don Kramer. I go, wait a minute. You're not. So I was mad at him. I go home and I start thinking. So then I go to my AA meeting, and I'm in the AA meeting, and I'm sitting around and I'm looking. And they said, okay, here's what you do when you're a drunk. You walk in the door. Good. You sit down for an hour. Good. You read the book. Good. You get a sponsor. Good. You go through the steps. Good. You get done with all that. Good. Then what do? Go teach somebody else to do what you just did. I went, oh my God, why don't I just take what I learned there into network marketing? And I was blown away. And I just could not believe it. So I did a personal development course called the Landmark Forum, which really got me access to Tom Chenault and how Tom Chenault really is versus, all that hocus pocus I told myself I was. And so I'm at this point right there where I'm like really feeling good about myself. I said, what if I write this thing called the Coffee Shop Interview, parallel it to the 12 steps, parallel it to falling in love with yourself first, parallel it to making it all about the other person and not anything to do with me, and see what that turns into. And this book is just unbelievable. It will take you at least 5 minutes to read it. It's not a book. It's not a book. It's just a pamphlet that is on Amazon for $8. And I can read the future, because if you buy that at Amazon, you're going to go buy it. It's going to come in the mail, and you're going to go, I paid $8 for this. And then you're going to be madder than hell at me forever. But Amazon got like $7.99. So trust me, I don't want you to pay for it. If you just go to thecoffeeshopinterview.com, we'll send it to you for free. So it's just unbelievable. So, just print it on black and white paper, and instead of $8, you get it for like 3 cents. And that would make me totally happy. But back to it, it teaches you what I'm good at. And what I'm good at is interviewing people, finding out what they want to buy, finding out what they don't want to buy. And this isn't just network marketing. This is all of life. You and Don are not network marketers. You guys are not network marketers. I hate to break it to you. You are not network marketers. Network marketing is just what you do. You are not network marketers. You are so much more than that. Who you are for the world in your suicide prevention, who you are for the world in everything you do is so much bigger than your job. You may love it, called network marketing. It's unbelievable, but that isn't who you are. So what I do is I've got this interview, and it is simple, and I find out what's going on with you. People call it forum. They got a million different names for it, but this one's a little deeper because I threw in AA and the philosophy around that, and the landmark education and the philosophy around that, and really getting to the crux of the human being that I'm sitting across the table from and finding out about it. And having them leave that conversation with me feeling better than when they got there. That's my only goal. And I get as much information as I can. I find out about their family. I find out about their goals. I find out about their health. I find out about their marriage. I find out about their parents. I find out about their kids. I find out everything. And then we leave. We leave. I teach you to leave instead of the great close that all the other network marketers are trying to get you to do. Because the minute you tell me you've got something going on in your life and we're sitting at the table, we're crying, the waitress is walking over, bringing Kleenexes, and we're having a heck of a time. And the next thing you know, I pull out of my bag, holy cow, I just happened to have the perfect thing for your problem. It goes from caring about you to this was a setup, an agenda the whole way. But if you wait 3 days, say, this is Tom Chenault. You told me you were freezing, and you're out there on the road going all over the place, and you are cold. And I've been thinking about you, and I've got an unbelievably beautiful pink sweatshirt you should buy. And it is not only beautiful, it is so soft and so warm, and it's got a hood and you can put it over your head. And it's got an inspiring statement on it that says, fire your brain, hire your heart, or love like crazy, then love more. And I think you should go to this website and take a look at this thing because it might warm you up inside and out. You are gone. You're going to go to that sweatshirt and buy that sweatshirt. That's what you're going to do. So that's it. If you want to catch a mouse, you have to think like a cheese. So during the same conversation, you told me you hate t-shirts. You just hate t-shirts, man. You like sweatshirts, but you don't like t-shirts. And we also have this unbelievable pair of, I forget that. I was going to make another joke, but it's still good. Okay, so good. So then about a few minutes later, I come back to you and I go, I'm not only that, you got to go look at the t-shirts. And I look at you and go, wait a minute, Tom, are you an idiot? Just 3 days ago, I told you I hate t-shirts. And here you're trying to pitch me on a t-shirt again. And in your network marketing business, that might be meetings. I love network marketing. I love the concept of it. I hate those meetings. Okay, well, good. I'll wait for 3 days and invite you to a meeting. No, you can't. No, they're going to say no. Everybody's so scared of rejection. Ask them in the interview. You're going to get the information. You're going to find out what they're going to say yes to. You're going to find out what they're going to say no to. You're going to wait 3 days and call them and ask them the question they're going to say yes to. And you're not going to ask them the question they're going to say no to. And your success rate is going to go through the moon. That's all it works. It's a dog with a note in its mouth can do this.
I love it. I love it. You are correct so much. And we appreciate you mentioned, we appreciate that you value what we're doing in the arena of suicide prevention. Ultimately what we want, and I think this is kind of the essence of your Hair on Fire community, we want a whole team of people who are all about suicide prevention. I think that's a powerful way to pull people together, and we've been working on that more and more. So thank you for valuing what we're doing there. I know you've been touched by such an epidemic yourself.
Well, yeah, sadly, I'm not going to throw timelines up because I know you're going to have this video for a long time, but you're catching me at a really, really, really vulnerable time for me because number one, I got in a terrible car accident on the 23rd of July of 2024. And it was almost killed my wife and I head on. We were in the hospital. Could have easily been fatal. We got banged up real bad. And I really got access to trauma, which has been such a blessing because it's helped me so much in my life because all of us had trauma. Most of us, it was so bad that we blocked it out. And it continues to run our life in the background and we never knew it. And that trauma is wicked. And then after that, a couple of months, I was giving a big speech down in Florida, and we came home and we couldn't find my wife's beautiful, talented, awesome sister. And we went down to her house and we found out she'd taken her life. And we found the body. And that was absolutely tough. And one of those anniversaries is coming up on that in the next couple of days. And then 6 months later, my best friend, out of the sky blue, no reason whatsoever, sober, brilliant, everything, something snapped and he took his life. So at this moment in my life, of all the things that are going on in my great life and in my not so good life, trauma and suicide are probably first and foremost. And getting people to understand how important it is, how anybody can be there. And there's a guy out there named Simon Sinek who just did a beautiful video and said the code word is now 9 minutes, because there's a study out there that says if somebody just has a conversation with somebody really listening that loves them for 9 minutes, there's a chance that whatever's going on in the brain with all that smart stuff that is going to rewire itself, and maybe that person won't do it that day. So my life is like, and like I said earlier, I'm right where God's got me, and I believe where God's got Tom Chenault right this second is completely in the foxhole with you and Don on that horrible but needed to be talked about topic.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Okay, Tom, I'm going to ask you some good advice. How about some final words of wisdom for us and our listeners?
I would say the final words are: look past nobody. Look where you can serve. Look where you can serve without agenda, because that person that you're serving is going to know somebody that's going to help you in those things that you have agenda size, whether it be your network marketing business, whether it's your foundation. If you were kind to them and you are that person that really looked them in the eye and saw them, when something comes up, when somebody else is looking for something, they're going to look at that person across the table and say, I might not be able to help you, but I know Cheyenne and Don Kramer. Can I tell them about you and give them your phone number? That's my advice. Love like crazy, then love more. Fire your brain, hire your heart. That will carry the day.
We love
So
it.
true.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us, Tom. I know you have a packed schedule every day of your life, and we just want you to know we love you with all of our hearts.
Well, make sure you get this interview to me so I can send it to the one friend I still have. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom. Take
Thank you.
care and have that great rest of your day.
That we will. Bye-bye.